This is the new Mini Countryman, and it's been created to take the British brand into previously uncharted territory. But there is one question on everybody's lips. Is this car a proper Mini?
In terms of size, well, there's nothing mini about it. In fact, BMW probably should have called it the Biggie. But let's put this into perspective. It's about the same size as a Golf, and while the Mini styling looks a little bit bloated on this larger car, and it's kind of like the Mini that ate all the pies, the trade-off for the larger dimensions are the fact that for the first time ever, it's a Mini with rear passenger doors. And not only is it easier to get into the back, but it feels a lot more spacious in here. In fact, it's very Mini-like actually. And if I need more room, I can slide the chair backwards, or if I want increased boot space, I can slide it forwards. Speaking of which, it's actually a decent size. I mean, look, and there's a false boot floor which you can lift up and it locks in place, so you can fit in deeper items if you want, and it means that people can't look in through the cabin to see what you're carrying, which means this car actually has a degree of practicality which is actually very Mini-like. Another thing that's not very Mini is the price, because the Countryman range kicks off at £16,000, which is about £6 more than the normal hatch. And this particular Coupe S or 4 model, well, it's a whopping 22 grand.
But probably the most un-Mini thing about the new Countryman is the fact you can get it with four-wheel drive. And this, together with a jacked up ride height, means you can go off-road.
Now, I've never done anything like this in a Mini before, and it feels a little bit strange. But I mustn't get too carried away, go thinking I'm in a Land Rover.
The truth is that the Countryman really is only designed for a spot of soft roading rather than serious mud plugging. That said, it will still go places other Minis would fear to tread. And this ability, plus the inflated size, space, practicality and price, mean that, on the face of it, the Countryman has very little in common with a normal Mini. Thankfully though, where it matters most, its DNA is blindingly clear.
Despite the raised ride height and the larger size, back on tarmac, the Countryman feels just like a normal Mini to drive. And the steering, it's lovely and direct with loads of feedback, and the chassis, it's got great poise and loads of grip, which means that when the road gets twisty, it's a whole heap of fun. As with a normal Mini, the Countryman offers a good balance of performance and economy. For instance, this Coupe S version may have four-wheel drive and weigh 170 kilos more than the standard hatch, but it'll still do 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds and will return 45 mpg. And if you go for one of the diesels, well, they'll actually do 64 miles per gallon. Here in the cabin, the Countryman has the kind of quirky features you'd expect with a Mini. For instance, there's the obvious speedo there in the centre of the dash and some silvery toggle switches down here. And there's also some pointless features which are really gimmicks, such as this central sliding rail here where you can actually mount cup holders and the sunglasses case. In terms of design, well, the Countryman certainly stands out alone in a car park, which is what you'd expect from a Mini, and it has that reassuring Mini build quality. So then, overall, it's definitely a Mini. It's just that it's not very Mini, but then that means it's going to appeal to a whole new range of people.